3 for 3. Yeah! 3 for 3 on the Lakeland boys! Who says Dan Mullen can't recruit? What's up, everyone? KJ3 here, and December 19th, 2018 has come and gone, which means the second ever early signing day has passed. And let's go ahead and look what we got. First off, we started off getting the Lakeland Trio. Yeah, boy! Go Gators! Yeah! Summerall! Woo! There's my live announcements. Man, I was pumped up. Let's start off by going over our 4-star offensive guard, Devante Hammond. 6'3", 353. He's going to be playing in the Under Armour All-American game on January 5th. Same game that Chris Steele is going to be announcing his commitment date. So that is a game to watch. January 5th, everybody. Also, man, Keon Zipper came with Summerall, came with Hammond, part of the Lakeland Trio. He will also be in the Under Armour game. Zipper is 6'2", 240, and this guy reminds me of Aaron Hernandez with the ball and route running, and it's just, he's so athletic. The one little part of his game that needs to be worked on is blocking, but other than that, he's an excellent route runner. He's excellent at catching the ball, very athletic, can make people miss in the open space. Everything we need in a tight end. Not to mention, we get to pair him up with Lucas Kroll, and then also with Kyle Pitts that we got last year's class as well. So we'll have plenty of tight end depth. And then, of course, Lloyd Summerall with his dad, Big Dog Summerall, on number 15th ranked defensive end in the class. As a senior, he had 11.5 sacks. As you know, all three of these guys were on the state title team. So that means they were playing good competition all year long and managed to get that. He also finished with 4 interceptions and 3 forced fumbles in his high school career as well. So the Lakeland Trio, very, very big for us to pick up. That's why it was such a big deal. We may have missed out on Saunders and Thibodeau, but these three will be a key part in building what is to come and us getting back to the top of being title contenders. Remember the last time we went into Lakeland and got some really good people. Pouncey Twins, Chris Rainey, Ahmad Black, among others. So Lakeland, Florida is becoming a Florida recruiting ground for the Gators. Then that brings us to, of course, a key piece that we got, our quarterback, Jalen Jones. If you haven't heard about Jalen Jones, then I don't know what rock you've been sleeping under, because Jalen Jones has the ability to improvise. He knows Dan Mullen's offense. He was committed to Dan Mullen back when he was at Mississippi State. This guy is a quarterback that Dan Mullen loves and will fit his offense perfectly. So no more of this square peg, round hole quarterback nonsense that Florida's been having, all right? Don't need to worry about quarterbacks. And not to mention Anthony Richardson coming in the next class with Emory Jones, who just redshirted. Our quarterback problems are going to be solved, Gators, all right? You just got to trust Dan and the quarterbacks that he chooses, all right? I don't want to be hearing about trying to go out and get Justin Fields or Jalen Hurts or any of these transfers. I'm done with these transfers. I want the guys that Dan Mullen has been looking at for years. And Jalen Jones is someone Dan's had an eye on for years. So I'm very excited to see what he will do once he gets on campus, whether he will take a red shirt or not. A position that we really hit, and we really hit good this year, was our linebackers. We know we've been weak at linebacker. We got a couple in last year's class, had the other David Reese red shirt, and we also bring upon Muhammad Diabate, and he is the number 8 outside linebacker, and he also plays some defensive end. He had 10 tackles for loss, 7 sacks in his senior year. And he definitely, if you watch tape on him, he knows how to get through an offensive line and attack the quarterback. And then someone that, if you listen to Dan Mullen's press conference today on early signing day, someone he was really excited about is our other linebacker, number 7 in the country, Tyrone Hopper. He started out his career for the first 2 years playing corner and safety. So now he found his position, outside linebacker. He averaged 7.8 tackles per game, had 5 interceptions, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery this year. Definitely something we need. If not, that adds plenty of depth for the upperclassmen that are going to be leaving. The Foreseen Joseph and the David Reese, who's going to be an upcoming senior this year. And then also to add depth, we also got 3-star Josiah Pierre, 6'2", 220. So he will be there to add depth. He's a good linebacker to fit the program, to fit our 3-4, to give us depth at position, because it's all about trying to keep guys fresh in the fourth quarter. And let's bring us to our defensive tackle. We didn't really hit our D-line that much, but that is an area that Dan Mullen said he's going to be going after. He said defensive line and secondary he's going to be going after for National Signing Day. So with us already having Jalen Humphreys, I've already made a video on Jalen Humphreys back in June. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead and click my link right up here to the other video, or it'll be in the description below, or just, subscribe and view my account, and you'll go ahead and get that. That, along with offensive lineman Riley Simmons. And shout out to his mom for following me on Facebook. I love you, Mrs. Simmons. Can't wait to see what your son does. And we also, a little bit of interesting, but Dewan Black did not sign his letter of intent just yet. But from what I've heard, is he is still 100% committed to Florida. He still wants to be a Gator, which is great. Bring us on to our defensive backs that we have so far, which is Jaden Hill. We know he tore his ACL in September, so he didn't have that big of a senior year. But his junior year, he had 5 picks and 26 deflections. So, and he is also someone to be watching out for kick and punt returns as well. So, Jaden Hill, Will Muschamp tried to scoop in to get him to bring him to South Carolina. And Will Muschamp, he knows defensive backs. So if Will Muschamp was going after him, this guy's talented. So Jaden Hill, watch out for him. We also have 3-star Chester Kimbrough. Not much information I could find on him stat-wise, but I watched tape, and man, this guy has great closing speed when it comes to quarterbacks throwing late to the outside. He's just an underrated talent that, once again, Dan Mullen knows how to find. Anyone who says Dan Mullen can't recruit, I don't know what they're talking about, because the recruits that I see him pulling in are great recruits, no matter what their stars are. Then we also got this 3-star athlete. It's listed as a safety, Trent Whitmore. And let me go over his stats. I wrote him down. He has so many stats in high school, all right? He played receiver, quarterback, and defense. He caught, for his high school career, over 1,300 receiving yards, 17 touchdowns, threw for over 1,000 yards, threw for 12 touchdowns, rushed for 3 touchdowns, had 196 tackles in his high school career, including 7 tackles for loss, 28 pass deflections, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and a blocked field goal. What an athlete. How is he only a 3-star? That is a diamond in the rough, everybody. Look out for him. Also brings us to Naquan Wright. We did not get Trey Saunders, but Naquan Wright, being the 15th ranked running back in this class, has the excellent combination of size and speed and elusiveness. He's 5'8", 188. So just wait for Coach Savage to get his hands on all these guys, all right? Be trimming that body fat, be upping that muscle intake, and give him some power. We know Coach Savage is the best strength and conditioning coach in the nation. I mean, I'll go out and say it, in the nation. I can't think of one person that's better than Coach Savage. So, I mean, Naquan Wright in his state title game, which was a division lower than the ones that the Lakeland boys played in, he ran for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. And also early in this year, he ran for a $163 and a touchdown that helped break a team's 28-game win streak. Pretty darn good running back in my eyes. Another wide receiver, Jamarcus Wetson, 6'3", 205. Got good size. Once again, just wait for Coach Savage to get his hands on him. And not to mention, Dan Mullen is a huge Jamarcus Wetson fan. Just look what he said during his press conference about him. Then we also have 3-star Deontay Marks. He's 5'11", 178 pounds. He is also a kick returner, and his standing broad jump, 11 feet 3 inches. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now it's time for our offensive linemen. We attacked this position and we attacked it good. We got 7 offensive linemen just in this class, with 5 of them being early enrollees. Start out with Michael Tarquin, 6'6", 290, number 24 ranked offensive tackle. Played a lot of left tackle on film that I watched. And this guy, he's big, he's strong, he's a mauler, all right? Whether it's run blocking or pass blocking. Good luck trying to get past this guy. An offensive tackle, number 27th ranked, William Harold. He didn't play football until his junior year. He played on the basketball team. And in between his sophomore and junior year, he grew an extra 2 to 3 inches. And so he started playing football. And man, for him to already be a 4-star recruit for only playing football for 2 years, another diamond in the rough. Thank you, Dan. He's got to just love it. I mean, Dan has the great eye for finding undervalued recruits, all right? That's why I don't necessarily care about star rankings and where our class is ranked all year long, because Dan Mullen finds the right guys to fit our program, to fit what he wants to do. Guys who bleed orange and blue, who want to play for Florida. We also got 4-star offensive guard, number 20 ranked in the nation, Wardrick Wilson. He's 6'4", 305. And I already mentioned Riley Simmons. Like I said, go ahead and check out my other video. Link up here in the description below for him. Our last couple ones that we got are Ethan White, which he was Amari Burney's high school teammate. As you know, Amari Burney was our athlete from last year's class. He is 6'5", 390. And then we also got Kingsley. May need to help me on this name. I'll put it in the description, or put it right here on the screen. Iguaquan, 6'3", 293. He played in high school at center and at guard. So, I mean, there we go. We got versatility there. So, you got to like where this class is at. Number 6 in the SEC, number 16th ranked nationally. And compared to last year, where we were at last year after National Signing Day in February, we were number 4 in the SEC and number 14th in the nation. And that was with Dan Mullen saving Jim McElwain's garbage last year of a recruiting class, all right? So just wait until National Signing Day to see if we jump back up. But I really like to where we're at. We went from number 22 to right outside the top 15, all right? I love that. I love how we closed today. I love how we got all 3 of the Lakeland guys and opening up that pipeline for us again. And a couple missed targets that we did miss out on, which one person I thought we were going to get for sure ever since Alabama said they didn't have room for him, was Sakai Ika, and he decided to choose LSU. That one shocked me this morning when it was announced. And then also, you know, we didn't get Trey Saunders and Evan Neal. They're both IMG Academy guys. And as I've stated in the past, we just do not recruit IMG Academy that well. They both wound up going to Bama. Derek Hunter's recruiting story is finally over. If you know what I mean, that has been the wildest recruiting story for any recruit this year. He decided to go to Jimbo Fisher in Texas A&M. And we also, as I mentioned before, missed out on Thibodeau. He went to Oregon. And also, Brandon Dolores went to Oregon as well. He was another defensive end that we were trying to get. And he decided to come down between Oregon and Florida, and he chose Florida. Now, here's some names to look out for coming up for National Signing Day in February. Is the Mississippi State commit, Nathan Pickering. Not necessarily sure if he's considering Florida or not, but you know he has to have Florida in his eyes, with that being Dan Mullen's old school, Mississippi State. Then also a couple people that are heavy Georgia leans that are DBs, because Dan Mullen says he's going to be attacking the D-line and secondary. That will be his main focus for National Signing Day. So just keep an eye on Tyreek Stevenson, Hakeem Dent, who is an FSU commit. And as you know, FSU in Miami, their recruiting is falling apart. And then, of course, as I've already mentioned, January 5th, tune into ESPN, the Under Armour All-American game. Chris Steele will be announcing. I believe Chris Steele is a Gator, and he's just putting off his recruiting, but he could stay on the West Coast just like Thibodeau decided to do, with him already decommitting from USC, Southern Cal, this year. So, I mean, It's not a great class. It's a solid class that filled a lot of needs and got a lot of people who bleed orange and blue, who want to be Gators, who want this family culture, this winning culture to be brought back to Florida, and people to want to be a part of that, to see that Florida is on the up and up, and to see what Dan Mullen is building. And for people wanting to be part of that, I've been saying all year long, every recruit is going to have one eye on Florida just to see what Florida does. And us making a New Year's Six in Dan Mullen's first year exceeded expectations, all right? We may have had 3 losses. We lost to Georgia. Kentucky broke our streak. And we lost to a bad Missouri team, but we still exceeded expectations on the eye test and just making a New Year's Six. Kentucky may have beat us, but we still finished ahead of them in the SEC. So it's passing the eye test, and I saw quality improvement, especially in Felipe Franks all year long. Receivers stepping up, Van Jefferson and Traven Grimes, the 2 transfers coming in. Kyle Pitts. Oh my God, like the list goes on. And not to mention all of the people who redshirted and didn't get playing time. They are just getting more and more comfortable with the offensive scheme and defensive schemes that we are running. And I love where this program is headed. I really do. That's the first time I have said that probably since Tebow was still there. It's probably been 10 years since I've said I really, really like where Florida is trending. All right, Florida was definitely a big, big winner for this early signing day. And it's just more momentum. It's momentum to carry into going into the early signing day, us giving that butt whooping in Doak Campbell Stadium, 41-14, one of my favorite scores ever. Wonder why. But still, that pays so much dividends on the recruiting trail. That's why it was so huge. And for us having Michigan coming up in a week, it's looking like we may be the favorites in that. I know we have not beaten Michigan yet, but a lot of Michigan players, man, they feel like this year is the disappointment, and they may not be as up to play for this game. This is a letdown for them. They had national title playoff expectations. Us, on the mean hand, we went from a 4-win team to a 3-loss team, so we got a heck of a lot to prove for. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson already declared to go pro, but he's going to go as hard as he can to make sure, for this Mullen era to get off to the right foot, to leave it better for the next guys coming in. So our seniors, our juniors that are declaring, they still got a ton to play for. Michigan, on the other hand, doesn't really have that much to play for this year. They already have a couple people that are transferring away from there. So I like where this Gator team's at. I like that we have Michigan coming in. Yes, I rather would have had UCF in the Peach Bowl, but let's go ahead and get our first win against Michigan, all right? And be sure to stay tuned, as I will be also doing a National Signing Day breakdown, and I will be live streaming the National Championship game on the 7th, no matter who it is. So go ahead, subscribe, hit that button up here. Go ahead, check out all my other videos, and as I said before, go ahead and check out those previous videos I've been doing on recruits all year long. Sorry about the layoff. I've been in between studios right now. You can go ahead and thank my uncle for the Patriots logo above the TV today. He is a big New England Patriots fan. I'm a big Duke Dawson fan, so I hope Duke does well there. Anyways, this is KJ3 signing off. Go Gators. Dan's the man. You just got to have faith. How many times have I said it this year? Just pump the brakes, Gator Nation. Dan's got this. And I couldn't be happier to be right now when it comes to Dan Mullen. Can't wait until the new year. Can't wait until next year. See y'all then. Go Gators!